This video is sponsored by Squarespace, an all-in-one platform to build a beautiful website. Get 10% off your first purchase by going to squarespace.com/pailinskitchen. Hey everyone, welcome to Pai's Kitchen. So today I have yet another dim sum recipe to share with you. This time it's dessert. We're making Hong Kong style mango pancake, which they're not really pancakes, they're more like crepes, really thin, delicate crepes, fluffy whipped cream, and fresh sweet mango. It's the perfect light, fresh ending to a dim sum meal, which is always really rich and heavy, right? I am, however, making this better. I'm not gonna make it exactly the same as your dim sum restaurant. I am making it better. Yes, that's a bold statement. But this comes from, me eating these things at dim sum and like, oh, these are really good, but I wish they were a little more mangoey. I wish there's a little bit more sort of juiciness, lusciousness in them somehow. What would I do to make this better? Well, I'm about to share with you what I would do to make it better, and it's really easy. So let's get started. First, let's make the crepe, which is something that you can do in advance. Now, this is similar to like a standard crepe, but it's actually much more delicate. And the thing that's going to make it really delicate is the addition of cornstarch to the flour. So I've got some cornstarch here, and then I'm going to add just a little bit of sugar. I like to mix the sugar and the cornstarch first because the sugar actually helps break up any lumps in the cornstarch quite well. Okay, so now that it's all mixed, I'm going to add my all-purpose flour and a little bit of salt. And when I bake, I always use fine salt so that it dissolves quickly, dissolves better. Well, I use fine salt for everything, basically. So that's the dry ingredient. It's really simple. We're gonna set that aside. Let's deal with our wet ingredients. And by the way, the reason why you want this to be really delicate is because it's gonna be wrapping around soft, fluffy mango. So it should require almost no resistance to bite through it, because otherwise it will squoosh out. So this is food practicality. Now, for the wet ingredients, I got milk here, just regular whole milk. I have actually heated this up in the microwave a little bit just until it's lukewarm, just because if the batter is really cold, when you add the melted butter, it'll seize into lumps. So it's a good thing to do. And if your eggs are at room temp, that'll help too. I just ran this under hot tap water. Obviously, you don't make the milk so hot that you poach the eggs. So just give this a quick beat just to break up the eggs. By the way, you can also throw everything into the blender and life will be easy. I'm just wanting to show you this method in case you don't have a blender. I am now going to add some vanilla. And also, traditionally this crepe is quite yellow to sort of represent the mango. So I'm gonna add a little bit of food coloring. You don't have to add it at all. It's gonna look a little bit yellow anyway from just the eggs. But if you want to go au naturel, you can try infusing your milk with some turmeric if you want. Just a few drops. Okay, so now wet into the dry, because we have quite a bit of liquid here. I like to add not too much first. I just find that if I dump it all in, I get a lot of just like pockets of flour floating around everywhere, get more lumps. So now most of the lump is gone. Then you add the rest of it. If you're gonna use a blender, by the way, just check out the written recipe. I'll give you some more details on that. And that is it. Now, what you do want to do, absolutely want to do, is strain this batter back into the spouted container. So I was actually very intentional in heating the milk in here because this will eventually be the container that I use to make my crepe. So see, I thought this out. You want to strain it because you're going to make really, really thin crepes, so any lumps you have in the batter will show. Any big lumps? Yeah, I really don't have that much, so this is good. I don't have to do anything. But if you have a lot of lumps, you can just use a spoon to push it through to make, and then to scrape it off the bottom. But this is good. So this batter can be made in advance. Leave it in the fridge. We still need to add melted butter to it. But don't add the melted butter before you strain it, because if the butter goes in and it hardens because your thing is a little bit cold, you end up straining out the butter bits. So the butter should be the last thing to go in right before you cook. And also don't put the butter in and then put it in the fridge, because again, the butter will harden in the fridge and now you've got lumps of butter everywhere. Okay, so that's that. Let's make the rest of it. So the mango, you want to use mango that's in season. So don't make this out of season. Right now it's mango season in Vancouver, so it's the opportune time. I'm using Ataulfo mango, which is nice and sweet, but it also doesn't have a lot of fiber. I'm going to show you how to peel mango, just in case some of you don't know how to peel mangoes. Because when I came to North America, I realized that a lot of people don't peel mangoes here. When they eat it, they just cut the cheeks off and then use a spoon to dig it out. And in Thailand, we always peel our mangoes and cut them into slices and put them on plates. So I was like, oh, that's a, interesting, easy way of doing it. But then as a result, I discovered that a lot of people don't know how to properly peel mango. And you want to make sure you get all the skin off. So don't be too stingy because that skin's a little bit bitter. If you don't peel it all off, you will get bitterness. So you can definitely see where the skin ends. And another tip to not lose too much mango flesh is don't take off thick strips, because when you take off thick strips, that's when you can't really conform to the curve of the mango, and therefore you lose big chunks of skin.
You mean meat?
Meat, that's right. I mean meat. Thank you. And run the knife as close as possible to the seed, and then off you have one knife. Yay! And I have a little bit of a boo-boo here. That's okay. It happens sometimes. So that's good. And then I'm going to go around the other side. Yay, no boo-boo on this one. So I want to make sure I have 2.5 inches. My thumb is 2 inches, so I'm looking at right here. Trim off the ends. You don't want the ends in there because if you have thin pieces, then that part of the crepe is not going to have a lot of mango inside, right? So you want sort of an even thickness. And then I'm also going to cut off the side because also that is not a lot of mango when it slopes off. Then you're going to cut this into 2. And if your mango is a little bit bigger, you may end up with 3 or 2 really big pieces. So just use your judgment there. And then with the seed, we're going to just shave off the meat. Actually, what I'm going to do with the seed is I'm going to taste it, because the most important thing you need to know about this mango is what does it taste like. That will really affect the decision that you make from this point onward, okay? So then when you have this, make sure you peel this off as well. Or you can give this to your child to munch on, or yourself. I used to love munching on mango seeds when I was little. So now we're going to make the mango sauce with all of our trims. So this part right here is what makes this recipe better than your classic ones you find in the restaurant. Because if you only use this, then the entire thing depends on how good your mango is. And let's face it, most of the time your mango isn't ideal, right? It could always be a little sweeter, a little more flavorful, whatever it happens to be. This is where you fix it. And even if this was perfect, I think this adds a level of mangoiness that's really, that makes it better anyway. So now I'm going to use my immersion blender, but you can just throw these into whatever blender you have. Okay, from this point on, I have no recipe for you. It depends entirely on how the mango tastes. It needs quite a bit of sugar, and it needs also some lime juice, because you taste it and you find, mango sauce needs to be a little bit more tart. So I always find it needs a little bit of lime juice, even if the mango is already quite sweet. I'm also going to do some lime juice. You can do lemon juice, works really well. Let's see where we're at. Yeah, perfectly sweet, a little bit of tartness that would brighten everything. And then when you're done with this, you're gonna have a lot left. This is clearly way more than I need, way more than I need. But then once you're done with it, you can put this on anything. You can put it on your pancakes, like actual pancakes, or put it in yogurt, like plain yogurt, to make it mango yogurt. So this becomes quite versatile. Before we get cooking, let me tell you more about today's sponsor. Squarespace is an all-in-one platform to build a beautiful online presence, whether it's a website, an online shop, or a portfolio. You can get your domain, build your website, and host it all in one place. And most importantly, you don't need to know how to code at all. They make it really easy for anyone to use. My husband is a graphic designer, as many of you know, and he could have designed his own website, but he used Squarespace for his portfolio because it's so easy, so convenient, and all of their templates look professional and beautiful. Now, the best part, my viewers can get a free trial by heading over to squarespace.com/Pailin'sKitchen, and when you are ready to launch, you can use the offer code Pailin'sKitchen for 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. And I will link to everything in the description below. All right, time to make the batter. So I've melted my butter just in the microwave, and then I'm going to stir it in, and I want to stir as I pour in case my batter is a little bit cold so I don't get big clumps of butter. The most important thing is you want a non-stick pan, a good non-stick pan, and the perfect size is 10 inches, which means that the actual pancakes will end up being about 8 inches. Turn the heat on to low. This burner doesn't really do low very well, but we want low heat because we don't really want a lot of color on it. So I'm gonna test no, it's not quite hot enough yet. So you want the water, if you sprinkle the water onto the pan, to just kind of relatively quickly disappear, but not like bzzz, sizzle. But you also don't want it to just like sit there and hang out, right? Okay, that's good. As soon as the water goes in, it starts to boil right away. So I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna turn my heat low now. Now coming back to the batter, you wanna stir it every time because the flour will settle, the butter will separate. So you wanna stir it every time. And for each piece of pancake, I'm going to measure out 3/4 of a quarter of a cup, if that makes any sense. I have found that that is the best size. Pour the batter in, and you wanna hear a very gentle zzz as it hits. That's perfect. And then just swirl it and then let it sit. And we're just gonna let that cook for about a minute. They're so thin. So once I see that the top is dry and I'm actually seeing it puff up in certain spots, that's my cue that it's basically done. And now I start to loosen the edge. We're only gonna cook this on one side. You wanna put this on a towel-lined plate because it's going to steam up and you don't want all that steam to make the pancakes soggy. So put that in and nudge it off a little bit. There you go. That's perfect. Careful, it's hot. Whew. So this is my last piece right here, and of course I don't have enough for complete ones. So my snack crepe, I want it nice and browned and crispy because when you eat them on their own, it's better like that. One of the reasons why you don't really want browned on these beyond just presentation is if it browns too much, it actually becomes a little too firm as well. Then again, we run into the problem of it not being delicate enough, and again, whipped cream out the wazoo. Last thing we're gonna do before assembling, we're gonna whip some cream. I've got whipping cream here, and I'm going to sweeten it with some icing sugar, which, by the way, you can change the amount of sugar depending on how sweet your mango is as well. If it's really not very sweet, you can make the cream sweeter. Okay. Once you start to see it leaving trails, slow down a little bit because you don't want to over whip the cream because then the fat will separate and then you'll have butter. What you want for this is for the cream to be quite stiff because it needs to hold its shape. If you cut the crepe open or you bite into it, you don't want like soft oozing whipped cream. So this is, it's almost there. It's still a little bit, it's still droopy. See, you don't really want that. See, now you start to see the trail quite clearly now, and then this is good to me. It's not drooping. I can do quick little just in case, and then you're done. Living on the edge here. Yay, ready to assemble. All right, so you want to put your crepe down, shiny side down, because that's going to be presentation side, and shiny side is the side that was not in contact with the pan. Okay, now I'm going to put down some cream right in the center, and you want the cream to be about the same length as the mango, so that's 2.5 inches. And then this is the key right here, the mango sauce, of which I have way too much. But can you really have too much mango sauce? Put the mango down. There you go. This is a good size. And then what I like to do is I put the mango on top as well, mango sauce on top. I want to surround the mango with sauce and surround the mango with cream. And then we're gonna wrap side two sides, and this is a good length, so you want the two sides to overlap a little bit. If they're having a hard time overlapping, that means it's a little too long. Pull this over, and then this is the hard part. Flip, ta-da! Now, I like to just trim that off. So you could turn it a little bit and then like the seam would be under, but then you lose this nice shape that we already have. So I just like to trim that off for ease. There you go! Look how cute that is! Let's open it up and see what it looks like on the inside. And by the way, you can make the crepe and let it sit for a while as well in the fridge. So you don't have to do this to order. It might even be a little bit firmer, more set too, if you let it sit in the fridge for a bit. Ah, look at that! See, not only do we have a nice amount of cream, a nice amount of mango, we got that juicy, luscious mango sauce kind of marbling in everywhere. That, I am telling you, is taking this mango pancake to the next level. So good. This makes me so happy. The crepe is just the perfect amount of sweetness, and you bite in, the whipped cream is so soft and fluffy, and the mango then give you that fruitiness. I want to show you as well how thin that crepe is. That is what you want, and you want them to be as thin as possible while maintaining its integrity, because what's going to happen is once you get to the part where they fold on top of each other, or the end where, you know, there's multiple layers, if your crepe is too thick, it's going to feel really, really doughy. And it's so light that even if you put the whole thing in, it doesn't feel like too much. I mean, it's not graceful, but it's not too much. So the recipe, as always, will be on hotthaikitchen.com. I really hope you give this a try. It's such an easy, delicious, fun dessert, especially if mango is in season. And if you make it, make sure you tag me on Instagram or post it to my Facebook page or tag me on Twitter. I would love to see what you create. And if you haven't subscribed to the show, make sure you do so you don't miss a recipe like this. And click the bell icon as well so you get a notification when I post a new video. Thank you as always for watching, and I will see you next time for your next delicious Thai meal. Hey, not Thai meal. We're not Hot Thai Kitchen. Your next delicious adventure. Problem with having two shows. Bye!